So you guys already did know, Five Nights at Freddy's got a new live-action movie adaptation. After a whole decade of waiting, this movie is in full form. Like, it is unreal. Like, even to me, to this day, it still feels unreal for me experiencing this movie. I know I don't talk a lot on this channel, but I'm a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan. Like, you see the book that I have in the background. I'm a huge FNAF fan. And hold on for a second. You already know I gotta do my typical showcase. Not only do I have one book, but I have this is my favorite of the Faster Fright series. This is my favorite. Into the Pit, Spring Bonnie, popping out the ball pit. If you know, you know. I also have two of the Tales of the Pizza Place books. I only got 1 through 7 now. You ask me, Mike, why you only got 1 through 7? Well, I don't know. I haven't caught up with the Tales of the Pizza Place books. I got 1, 2, 3 novels of the original trilogy book series. Yeah, but with all that out the way, let's get into the FNAF movie review / initial thoughts. Mike, play that intro. So the first start off is that this movie's story is a mixture of the FNAF 1 plot points and the Silver Eyes novel. The movie starts off with Mike Schmidt, or Michael Schmidt, losing his previous security job. Obviously, he beat up a man at the mall, so you know he needs a job because he's raising his little sister, Abby Schmidt, who is an entirely new character that has never been in any of the FNAF games or the books. Is a completely new character within the movie continuity. Since he's raising his little sister, you know, he gotta make some money. You know, he gotta make some bread. You know what I'm saying? He gotta make that cheddar. He gotta make that cheese. You feel me? You know, he goes to this career counselor. Notice how I put the quotations in career counselor. Named Steve Raglan. Now, I will get to him later on. Like, I'm not even gonna bother hiding it. You already know what it is. It's William Afton, the murderer of the 5, kids that have been stuffed inside the animatronics, and literally is a complete psychopath in the movie and in the games alone. But, he goes by Steve Raglan in the beginning of the movie. He talks to Mike saying that, oh, what are you, some kind of head case? Oh, you've been fired from a lot of jobs. Like, you're not even trying anymore. He told him straight up, like, you need to get your SHIT together. So he, sets him up for, like, a security, like. Now, this is the part of the movie that really interests me the most. When he was reading his name on his file, he just goes, Michael, and then a pause, like, and just take a good look at him and goes like, which I'll get to that in later on. I'll get to that later on. It's going to get good. I promise y'all. So, after that, he was like, you want some coffee? And it was like, straight up, like, okay, we need a new security guard at this, rundown, abandoned, well, not even abandoned, but this rundown kids restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Basically, the main plot point of the first FNAF game. So Mike was like hesitant at first because he can't do nights because he got a babysitter, he got his little sister to watch over, and he's like he can't do nights. He told Steve straight up that he can't do nights, and he was like, okay, if you want like a change of heart, here's my number. So after that, this new character, this aunt, his aunt or their aunt, I was a little confused. Like, is she's Abby's aunt or I don't know. But the point is, she's a jerk. I can't say the word because I may get demonetized, but she's a jerk. So afterwards, she talking about, oh, she just wants her, in custody, away from Mike because Mike apparently ain't taking care of Abby, but actually doing the best he can. You know what I'm saying? And that, raises Mike. I need to get my shit together, so let me call up Steve and get the security job. And he was like, "Oh, okay, Mister, I can't do nights." Like I was all like in my mind, I thought, okay, William is obviously setting Mike up. So Mike goes to Freddy Fazbear's, and the place is run down because it was so old. Steve gave him the rundown about the monitors, the generator, the doors, and everything. The place is a mess, and keep the place cleaned up and all that. Just like in the first game, but more exploration. I mean, you don't want a movie that just has a man sitting there checking monitors, closing doors all night. I'm looking at you, IGN. Yeah, I'm glad that they switched it up a little bit. The animatronics, they were basically the highlight of the movie and stuff like that. I like their little dynamic, and I like how it literally, from a lore standpoint, it makes sense, because whenever there's a security guard, like in the beginning of the movie, there's the previous security guard. They were trying to stuff him into the suit, and the way that they portrayed the stuffing in the suit is so gruesome. Like, it had like the mask, it had like these buzz saws and stuff like that. It is basically like, is this even you're stuffing them in a suit, or are you trying to kill them or something? So yeah, this is where I say that Abby is the true MVP of the movie, because Abby, wants to go with him to work for his security job, right? I'm going all over the place here. So there's this babysitter named Max. She works for the aunt that I talked about that is a jerk, and she basically was setting Mike up as well, just trying to she was like a spy, like trying to investigate everything, like, oh, how they can tell to the police or the judge, and on the trial day, and basically they're trying to go and sabotage, which it really kind of did really build up to the thing. It kind of felt a little out of place. That's why I'm scrambling and everything, because it just felt so rushed. So Max, right, the babysitter, her name is Max, by the way. So the bite of 83 or the bite of 87, but I'm showing the bite of 83, where the crying child got bit by the Fredbear animatronic because of the spring lock failure. Imagine that, but as Freddy, like Freddy was just telling Max to come here, come here, come here, and that decapitate her in half. He didn't even bite the head. He bit half of the body. Like, oh my god. Oh, I'm sweating just thinking about it. But it just felt so gruesome. It felt so gruesome. I was like, apparently Mike is on a mission of his own. He keeps having these weird dreams about his younger brother, Garrett, who is a completely new character as well. The animatronics first tried to kill Mike, okay? From a lower standpoint, like I said, it makes sense. If they think you're an adult security guard, they're literally pissed off by the fact that their lives were taken away from this, and just, this is their new fate now, you know what I'm saying? They can't control it. But Abby was comforting them. Like, Abby was being friends with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, dapping them up, dancing with them and everything. She was actually like the peacemaker of, I'm not talking about DC, but the peacemaker of the animatronics, because at the end of the day, they're just kids in animatronics. It is what it is. At the end of the day, they're just kids. So enter Vanessa. Now, Vanessa is in the games is a completely new character. not really established in any previous lore, but she's a completely new character from introduced in
Freddy,
FNAF Security
you're
Breach.
supposed to be on lockdown.
And apparently
Freddy,
she's
you're
a
supposed to
character
be
here
on lock.
in, apparently in this continuity, she's in the same timeline as Mike. So she's portrayed, instead of being portrayed as another security guard, she's portrayed as a police officer. So I think that her introduction was a bit weird. Like, she just showed up out of nowhere, just explaining a lot of things to Mike about Freddy's and all that stuff, but at the same time, it makes sense when she get to the end of the movie, but from an intro standpoint, it kind of felt weird that, okay, like, who are you and why are you coming here explaining all this to me? Like, are you hiding something? Do you have something to tell me that you probably ain't know about? And I can't believe it took her this long in the movie to actually explain why she was here. But, apparently, mysteriously, she's helping Mike, to give him the rundowns, tell him to stay alert at Freddy's because they animatronics and yada, yada, yada. Okay. Mike is on a mission of his own. He kept having dreams of Garrett, and apparently he can communicate with spirits in, his in his conscious state, when every time he's dreaming, because of like the animatronics and stuff like that, which I did like. I like the dream sequences in the movie. Mike is trying to communicate with this one spirit who is portrayed as the vengeful spirit from Ultimate Custom Night, who possesses the soul of Golden Freddy, or one of the souls. I just now learned that Golden Freddy has two souls in the game, but yeah, I think it kind of confirms that because with Golden Freddy has just this one eye, and the other eye is just dark. I don't know. It's just me. But anyway, this one vengeful spirit kept talking to Mike saying, oh, if you want to see your brother again, if you want to know who took your brother or what happened to your brother, then you need to give something to us. Meaning, you give us Abby or no Garrett. Simple as that. So Mike, throughout the end of the movie, he automatically regrets it. And then he was like, no, this is not what I want. You cannot take Abby. Because obviously, here's why I said that this movie takes heavy inspiration, some of the inspiration from this novel. Because, for one, the reason why the animatronics are attacking is because Afton is controlling the animatronics, just like in the Silver Eyes. Let me explain. So in the Silver Eyes, Afton is controlling animatronics. Every time that they control the animatronics, their eyes turn bright red. Hence why we see what we see in the movie. They tried to attack Abby during the end of the movie, trying to make her one of them, as Vanessa stated, which she did, with placing her in the Ella doll, which is a cool reference, by the way. I actually like that reference. But, apparently she's a spring lock, animatronic. Now, let me go over the spring locks real quick. Spring lock animatronics are... okay, I'm not going to go through a whole history lesson with spring locks and everything. But I'll tell you once you get to the end of the movie. Once I get to the end part... Well, I'm already at the end. Well, that part of the end sequence. Like, after being brutally injured by Foxy, Vanessa took him to, like, this warehouse hideout place, and Mike was like, what's going on? And like just trying to get to Vanessa, like, who are you? Why you know everything about Freddy's? And then Vanessa, then this is the part where I was like, really, it took you this long to, you know what, I'm not even gonna get mad. It really took her this long to like explain the whole stuff to us. But the reason why, because apparently Afton was hiding in the background, obviously, which is, it didn't really, oh, okay, apparently he was hiding in the background the entire time, trying to get ready to, put on his iconic Spring Bonnie, spring lock suit, you know what I'm saying? Iconic Spring Body animatronic suit. But she just like reveals that, I'm 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 William Afton's daughter. Bro, what? I was like, I was like, ooh, like you're her daughter. Well, look, this is why I say it changes. It changes a little some things up with the lore. By the way, after with Vanessa being Afton's daughter, I don't have a problem with that. Considering that this is a different continuity within itself, I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people were saying that, oh, they changed up the lore, oh, they did this, oh, they did that. Which me personally, I can really get that by it because it's a separate continuity on its own. But for a reveal as itself, I was like, okay, it took you this long to like just spit it out. Like could literally just help me throughout this whole situation. Which I can like the way she was like saying that like she was like Afton was just manipulating her all her life. She can't really tell anybody about the truth because if she explains somebody the truth about those missing kids, then the jig is up. Afton probably kill her or something like that. So from a story standpoint, a pacing standpoint, it felt a little like that, but from a story standpoint, like it made sense why she did that. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but let's keep going. So the final act of the movie was really, really like my jaw dropped like to the ground. Like to the ground. You know those cartoons that be having like the jaw drop to the ground and stuff like that? That's a special. That's how I was imagining myself. So Afton coming in, walking in with his full spring body animatronic spring lock suit on, just looking all menacing and whatnot. Like he's like, oh, so first I killed your brother. Now you remember who the man who took who took Garrett? William did that. Afton did that. And Mike was like, go to hell. And he like Mike like Afton was literally just throwing Mike around like a freaking rag doll, like kicking him in the rib cage and stuff. Like, oh my god. He was like, first I killed your brother. Now I killed your sister. Symmetry, my friend. I was like, oh my god, this man is so like Matthew Lillard killed it as William, man. Like he killed it. He really killed it. I ain't gonna lie. But they were trying to like they just trying to have a plan, like trying to like neutralize the animatronics while still trying to deal with Afton on its own. Like the whole final act was crazy. Like you got the animatronics being controlled by Afton, and it's like they're trying to kill Abby, Mike, Vanessa, and Vanessa trying to confront William, and was like, and Afton was like, oh, a little too old for temper tantrums, are we? Like, oh my god, man, this man was so cold. He was so cold. Oh my god. So Vanessa, of course, tried to shoot William, but thanks to the spring lock technology, he can't really kill him. So what did he do? Ching! Knife to the freaking chest with Vanessa, literally like injuring her, like brutally injuring her. Like it didn't really kill her because apparently, spoiler alert, she didn't die. She's in a hospital bed in the movie. But this is why I say Abby is a true MVP in the movie. Because Mike needed to come up with a plan. And then Mike was like, okay, Abby, do your thing. So Abby drew like, a description of what happened with, with like Afton and the yellow rabbit killing, had like a knife with blood on it, slicing the kid's head off and stuff like that. And then just pinning it onto, the poster drawing wall with the light on it. And with the animatronics just looking menacingly like and like the spirits were trying to remember, and I was like the way that it was sequenced with the screaming in the background and with after just screaming at the animatronics to move, and he was like, and then this reminds me of that mini game in FNAF 3 where like they were holding up towards, William, and he's just hiding in. He was going to hide in the spring bottom suit before. I'll get to that in a minute. But he was like, "Look at you, you disgusting little creatures! I made you." And then all of a sudden, the cupcake jumps out, ripping some of the spring locks inside the suit, and then the moment we all been waiting for, the spring lock incident in live action. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what people say. It wasn't too gory or anything like that. It was completely realistic, and I felt every single metal snap inside, piercing through his skin, and just ching, and him just trying to breathe. Like, this is why I said this is where it took heavy inspiration, because in here it states that the spring locks, if you move, if you try to breathe, then you'll probably die. So you try like that's why Afton was like trying not to breathe so hard, and every time he tried to breathe, he's like ching, and then ching, and then ching. Like every snap I felt, and then he says his iconic line,
"I always come back."
Like, man, this movie still feels unreal to me. Like, this is really for the FNAF fans, like, not for the critics. Even Scott and Blumhouse said themselves, this is for the FNAF fans, not for the critics. This is not your typical horror movie. It's not like any other horror movie. I see the FNAF movie as more like a thriller movie rather than a horror film, if that makes sense. But the ending, result, like, I know I keep going back to this book, but there's this reference in here where, like, the animatronics just drag Afton into the back room, while all the animatronics just go to the back room. Like, oh my, heavy Silver Eyes inspiration in this movie, and that was the end of the movie. Living Tombstone played in the credits. Man, this movie still feels unreal. This movie still feels unreal. Man, look. Like, as a FNAF fan who's been with this franchise since the beginning, like, of all the things that Scott Cawthon has made, man, this was truly a love letter to FNAF fans. And I'm so excited for what the future of the FNAF franchise holds. It's like the Mario movie, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, it's like the Mario movie. It's made for the fans. But, anyway, that's it for my thoughts and review. Now, what would I rate this movie? If have to be brutally honest, as a horror film, because it was rated PG-13, so like all the gore and stuff wasn't really, present. It wasn't bloody, it wasn't gory or nothing like that. But as a horror film alone, I would rate this a 3 out of 10. But as a FNAF movie, coming from a FNAF fan, I will give this an 8 out of 10, a solid 8 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's still, an enjoyable watch, especially if you're a FNAF fan. If you're a FNAF fan, I would definitely recommend you go watch this movie. Or if you're just new to the franchise and you just want to get into the lore, then go for it. Then I would definitely recommend it to you too. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.